This episode is presented by BetterHelp, Quench Hydration, DraftKings, and Flow Hockey. The eShow podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Do you have something new that you would like to learn or a new skill that you're looking to develop? Therapy can help you reconnect with that sense of wonder. Whether or not you've tried it before, it can help everyone despite what you may or may not have going on in your respective life at the moment. If you're thinking of therapy, give BetterHelp a try and rediscover your sense of curiosity. Visit betterhelp.com/THPN for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/THPN for 10% off your first month.
Welcome to the E-Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Founded in 2013, the EHL is your next step on the path to college. Over the past decade, the EHL has established itself as the college placement leader on the East Coast. And now, here's your host, the commissioner of the Eastern Hockey League, Neil Ravin.
Thanks, Jim. And with that, let's bring in Jeff and Jake. Guys, does it feel like October and it's showcase time finally?
Air's getting a little crispy. Dew on the grass.
Yes.
Temperatures are lowering. I like it. I just did a good old fall day with the wife the other day. We went to a farm, did some, got some apple pie and all that good stuff. So yeah, it feels like fall, Neil and Jake. What do you guys think?
Yeah, apple picking and everything too?
No,
Jeff?
They weren't open for apple picking that day because it was a Monday, but
Gotcha.
Self-employed life, when you have the days off during the week, you gotta make the most of it, Neil.
Yes. But yeah, we are on the verge of our first showcase of the season. We're recording this and dropping it a day earlier because we haven't tried recording and dropping a podcast on showcase day yet. But I can imagine that'd be pretty hectic for us to get that done on time.
We should never have that goal.
Ever.
We could record at like 5 a.m., Jake. I mean, I got up at 5:40 this morning because Chase wanted to watch Monsters, Inc. So, there's that. Have you seen Monsters, Inc.? We've covered Lion King. What about Monsters, Inc.?
I've seen Monsters, Inc. Yes.
Okay.
Monsters University, sneaky good. Is Chase seen
I
Monsters?
haven't seen Monsters
University. We watched that
Ooh.
one after, but what's confusing, Jeff, is Monsters University technically should have been done before Monsters, Inc. But because it can't. The timeline.
Isn't that just called a prequel though?
But what I'm saying is they filmed and they produced Monsters, Inc. first, but then when they went and made Monsters University, like the timeline, it's when they met each other in college before. So they should have made that one first. I have OCD, Jake.
No, that's wait, that's the concept of a prequel.
Not to me, it doesn't make sense. They should have made that one first, so I knew how they met each other first. I get what you're saying.
You think in this world there should be no prequels? Like you think everything?
Personally, my OCD says I don't want a prequel. Prequel leaves me questioning that they've left stuff out that I still don't know about.
Hey, it's Halloween time. Red Dragon, good prequel.
Like, will there be another prequel? Will there be another prequel to the prequel?
No, nobody's ever tried that before. That's a bit much.
We don't know that. We don't know that. That's the question now in my head.
You're the only person in the world that I think thinks that way.
Okay, well then I stand on my soapbox and I say
it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying you're one of one right now.
Like what's stopping them? They've come out with Monsters University saying this is how they met. What if they're like, no, curveball, here's Monsters Elementary School?
I think decades of cinema tradition are preventing them from doing that. I don't think there's ever been two prequels before.
Okay.
All right, 2 minutes for an instigator for Jake.
Yeah.
Hyper five interview. Separate it.
To each their own. To each their own. We'll go to Around the East Show.
Great.
Let's take a look at what's going on around the E-Show.
So as I began to say, and then I got off track personally, that's my fault, Jake. We have a showcase starting tomorrow. There are a lot of games this weekend, guys. We always talk about these showcases and how just, what's great about the first showcase just really becoming exhausted because there's 73 games. I think that's the total. I got to recount again, maybe, between the EHL, EHLP, and PPP games that we have going on. For those that don't know, the PPP is the Peak Performance Prep Hockey League, which the best way to define that is it's a preseason league for prep schools, right? And you look over the years, there's been a lot of prep players that have come to the EHL afterwards. The cool part about the PPP games is those teams can't be coached by their prep school coaches. I don't want to call it like an NCAA violation. It's a prep violation, I guess, then, right? So they're coached by college coaches. So we're going to have college coaches at our rink watching games and then going down to coach a game and then watching more games. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have to say that.
A little bit of a zoo. I'll welcome zoo. Zoos are great. Do we like zoos? I don't know. We don't like prequels. Do we? Are zoos okay? Can we say zoo? Is that
Listen,
okay?
you can't have a prequel
Not a
zoo
guy.
So. You're not a zoo guy?
I'm not a zoo guy. I don't think I've ever been to a zoo.
But to me, that makes no sense, Jake, because we're driving last year from Pennsylvania to New York, and we pass Reptile whatever.
That was a sanctuary, not a zoo.
Okay.
I'm back in college in my intro to philosophy class. Like, what is a zoo? What is a sanctuary? A sanctuary is a place.
Jeff, just picture myself, Jake, and Trevor. Trevor must have been asleep, to be honest, in the back seat. We're driving. We literally drove north from, I think we stayed in Harrisburg the night before, and we're driving from there to Brockport. I don't even know what roads we were on. You're just driving through the land. And like out of nowhere, what was it called, Jake?
Reptile Land, maybe?
Something like that. And Jake is like, "Oh my God, turn the car around."
Hockey, pause, Reptile Land, activate.
But it was like
animals.
It was just all trees, and then there's just this cutout, and it's like Reptile Land is here, and it's like, where are we right now?
Like, did I go off the road and I'm in the woods? Hockey, I don't see it. I don't know. I'm confused.
Yes. But anyways, back to the showcase. As I mentioned, a huge weekend for us on tap. Over 70 games, split between Worcester and Wellesley. The majority of the EHLP games are in Wellesley. We do have a few that are taking place in Worcester. Of course, we have those PPP games as well. Of all the teams, who are you guys just most excited to just see for the first time in person? Jake, I know you've seen a few teams already, so you could maybe say one of those teams again at this one. But who are you excited to really see again at this showcase?
Providence.
Oh, care to elaborate?
Yeah, I think I was impressed with Providence after that HCRI game where they took kind of a beating. I think they bounced back. They outplayed Vermont in both games of the series. Cam Wickens was unreal in the first game. Declan Kelly's been really good. They have Kroon, they have Watson, and they have an 07 Russian defenseman who's really good. Rodion Trushkin. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm going to try to interview him at the showcase. And they have a pretty interesting schedule. I mean, they're playing a team they saw a lot last year in the Apple Corps, and then they're finishing off against the Wizards, who I think are going to be one of the heavy hitters this year. I mean, got to see them against the Nor'easter, and they're like a rough, nasty, heavy blue-collar team, and they have a good amount of skill, too. So I'd actually say Providence and the Wizards are probably the two that I'm going to be looking for.
He steals it out of my mouth. I was about to say the Wizards because the Wizards don't win games in September historically, and then they went last year. Well, yes. Now that they've started this is a new trend for them, right? Like Corey's like, we're not going to start behind the 8 ball. We're going to get out ahead of it this year, and we're 3-0 at the top of the division.
And Freddie Meyer's been gone for so long, like we're out of Freddie's ways. We're in Corey Felice's ways now.
But let's talk about them for a second before I cut you off, Jeff, and you tell us who you want to see. I find it crazy that their first game, it's the 3-0 Wizards versus the 0-2 Terriers.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah.
And I mean, their middle game is against the Huntsmen, and those are the two undefeated teams going into this, so they could still be undefeated. And last year, I think the PA Huntsmen were one of the only undefeated teams going into the showcase.
Yes. Jake is trying to will that into existence. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind that if I'm being honest. Yeah.
Jeff, who are you most excited to see?
I mean,
is it the Huntsmen? Because you have the hat on. We have to acknowledge that.
Thanks, Zach Overholtz. Right to put this on today. We said we're gonna keep working the swag. Got the 3L shirt on. Love it. I mean, hi guys. My name's Jeff. I'm an equal opportunity lover. You guys know that. So I'm excited to see all 21 EHL teams.
That's such a Jeff answer right there.
Come on. Anyone that's listened to the podcast probably knows me by now too. That I'm a lover, not a hater. But no, I mean the teams you guys just brought up are interesting. You always want to see these in undefeated teams. I feel like early in the year, I mean, Vermont is very surprising to me, but are they surprising? That's a veteran latent team. We already talked about Cam Wickens. I mean, the Dukes have started out a little slow. I thought a little bit better things were going to come from them. New Jersey Bears, last year they started out like gangbusters like this, 3-0, and then kind of crashed. Are they better? Have they improved? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot to learn still. We could say.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you talk to the coaches, like they're like, we don't really know much until Worcester ends anyway.
True.
I mean, this is kind of like where like the league, we get our first flashes of where it's going to be, and then I think by like the December showcase, we like are really like established as where things are. But this is where we kind of learn about all the teams.
Yeah.
Identities, right. You're right, Jake. Styles of play, identities, returning guys. Have they, really taken the offseason seriously and taken that next jump to improving their game? Rookies that we have no clue who they are. Who is Owen House? Let's do our first Who Is segment of the year, guys.
Yeah.
Guys started off like friggin' unbelievable. And
Yeah.
I don't know who he is. So I'd like to get to know him.
Are you calling any Bears games?
That's what I'm kind of looking through right now. I know I have that Wizards Terriers game 11:10 tomorrow. Then I got Rough Riders Eagles at 1:10, Avalanche Philly at 3:10. So I got I have some good EHL games to start off tomorrow for sure.
Good. Jump right in, Jeff.
Jump in. 5 games tomorrow. 5-2-0-2.
Yeah,
That's my 4 days.
It's a good balance, I would say.
It is. It's a good balance.
And I think speaking of that balance, it's interesting to see the schedules these guys have all played leading up to them, because you could have teams like Vermont and the Dukes. Obviously, they had a 3-game series against each other, which is part of the reason why they've played 5 games. But that's the high in our league. It's 5 games. But then you have a team like the Express that have only played 1 game. It's a shootout loss. Is Nick Coda at all kicking himself, saying like maybe we should have got 1 more game in before the showcase, or is that not even a thought you think in his mind, guys?
Well, he was chomping at the bit to play that game. I think all the players kind of were. I think in retrospect, maybe he would have had another game or 2, but I think he's also really excited. I think they played a pretty sloppy game. There was a good amount to clean up. But to escape with a point in the first game, you're playing a team that was 0-3, and they're playing their first game on home ice. Like at some point, the levy's got to break. Like that's a tough situation to be the visiting team.
Yep.
And so, I think it's a good opportunity to kind of set themselves up for the rest of the season. I mean, we've had a couple situations where teams are playing their first game at Worcester. They're lucky that they don't have to do that. So I think this is whereas other teams have kind of set up their season, like have already had established that base. I think this is their opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
And Jake, I know that was a road game. Did you end up going to see that at the?
I was calling the P game at Ice Den.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I watched it though. Yeah,
and,
Miles
and,
and
kid, my boy, got in a little not the weekend.
Yeah. Mighty
65
Miles.
pins.
Dude, those things came off. I told him he had like butter in his gloves. They came off so fast.
I bring up that East Division because I actually got to golf with Bill Zanaboni the other day, guys. I golfed on Monday. We played
I didn't see him. I didn't see you in that tag. He did this, his Facebook spot. I don't think I remember seeing Neil Ravin on the.
He posted something.
Oh, just on Facebook. He did that like tag where you are with the geographic like map thing. No, like
and showed that we were at Shaker Hills Golf Club.
Correct, but I don't remember.
He didn't want to acknowledge that he was there with me, is what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to keep it a little secret,
Wow. Okay.
Secret's out now.
Well, it was him and Bill Collette, the president of the Seahawks. They were in a cart together, and then myself and Mario Martinello, the owner of the Avalanche. Ooh. That was our foursome for the Tufts Hockey Golf Tournament. Nice. We finished in 5th place. Now, we shot. There were 20-something teams.
Okay. 20-something?
We shot -11 in the scramble. That's not like a bad score. Like that's an above average score,
solid,
right?
Yeah.
The winning score was -16.
Wow.
Okay. Could we have like you always after those you always feel like you left a few shots out there, so like could we have got to -13 or 14? Like maybe. -16 is really good. But
what are you trying to say? Did someone?
no, listen, I'm not saying anything.
No.
I'm not saying anything. I had some great food. We had some great laughs.
Those are awesome times.
Yeah,
Those
there were
hockey golf
some,
tournaments.
yes, there were some shots that were hit that were just all over the place, but there were some great shots too. We were on the 18th hole, but we started on the back nine. So it was like our ninth hole, and we were like 30 yards out, and Mario chips in for eagle. It was electric. And of course,
Wow.
I tried to jump up, and
Unbelievable.
Justin will love this. I tried to jump up and like shoulder bump Mario. He's like 6'3"
He's
compared
massive.
to me. I know I'm not as tall, but I got up a little bit. So we had a great time though.
Neil, that's far better than what I shot at the Bentley Hockey Golf Tournament this summer. I was with our play-by-play guy, our rink manager, and our equipment manager. We shot a collective, I think it was like +5. We finished in last in our scrambles. So, but we had a great time. So
yeah, we call that
That's
DFL
really all that matters.
in golf.
Granite Links in Quincy, one of the coolest courses. Have you played at Granite Links?
I
You should
have
go.
played there.
Good spot. The skyline.
It's just
can't
really
beat it.
windy. That's the only thing.
It is very windy.
Like, I
On
sound
top
like
of the
so
story.
like stuck up when I'm saying this right now. I know that, right? It was just like really
He's up.
windy.
Neil's like,
Like,
oh, it's just a little windy.
no, it's like, and like the weirdest, like now we're going really off the rails, Jeff. Like
That's okay.
you
It's
can
beginning
see
of
the
the season.
whole,
We don't have a ton
you
of
can
games.
see the
but
whole
we're
skyline.
gonna-
When we were there, like in the distance, there was this like huge fire. Like there was like an apartment that caught on fire in Dorchester,
Oof.
and like
Hey.
it just kind of, it was like a really weird day because it got like windy and it like blew the smoke. I literally, I can't make this up. It like blew the smoke towards the course. Like it was just, I did call it Granite Stinks afterwards, not Granite Links, but it's
Wow.
fine.
Wow.
There goes that
Look at the first
sponsorship.
person I've ever heard complain about Granite Lake. We got to get you back there because that wasn't a true
I
experience.
wasn't, Jake, listen, I wasn't convinced that that golf course was going to sponsor the Eastern Hockey League anytime soon. So I was willing to take that risk.
Well, they just said, definitely not now.
It's a really good course. It's a hefty price. That's all. It's like a really expensive course to play for public.
It ain't cheap.
That's all. So again, my pinky is up here. So anyways, moving on to the
Neil's high
EHLP.
tea is ready on the stove, folks. He's gonna go take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Moving on to the EHLP. As I mentioned, we do have a few EHLP games in Worcester, but only on the first night, that Thursday night. The rest of the EHLP games are in Wellesley the rest of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The EHLP off to, I don't want to say a slower start, but teams have played fewer games. For a few teams, they're really getting their third games in at this showcase. I know we won't, for us, we'll be in Worcester the whole time. So we won't see as many teams in person, but is there someone that you guys are excited to learn more about then at this showcase when they play 3 or for some teams 4 games? Who do you want to learn more about?
I would take Jake's EHL answer, the Providence Capitals, because they're new to the Premier and they scored a whole lot of goals, 8-5 over Vermont, and then 8-2 over Vermont. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see them. Always interested in seeing a team in their first year, especially when they've already established themselves as an EHL team and then bringing in an EHL Premier team. In the years past, we've had a lot of the opposite, right? Guys have brought in an EHLP team, then an EHL team, but yeah, I kind of want to see what they're like if they're.
And they do play in Worcester one of their games, so you could actually see them.
I got to double check my schedule. Are they playing tomorrow?
Yes.
In Worcester?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I think I might.
I'll come out of left field. I'll pick Zach Spikuza and the New England Wolves.
So out of left field for him.
Oh, yeah,
Change it up for a little bit, you know.
That's like barely off the dirt of the infield. That's like right behind shortstop.
No, I'm super glad. I was actually worried about that yesterday if I wasn't going to get to see everyone's favorite EHLP captain, Zach Spikuza, but I am. But I'm excited for the Avalanche Seahawks matchup. Seahawks, I haven't gotten to like watch yet, but based on like my research on their roster, I think they're going to be improved over last season. And I just saw the Avalanche a couple days ago, and they are definitely improved from last season. That is a really good EHLP decor. So I think that's probably going to be one of the better games of the entire like EHLP slate that we're getting.
So let's have a laugh for a second because you bring up those Seahawks.
We haven't had enough laughs today.
Well, and we know the Seahawks provide us with the laughs, right? They will again this
They do.
week.
Mike Richard, Corey Ellen, Bill Zanaboni, Mike Collette.
Corey's called me like 5 times.
Bill Collette. Wow, sorry, Bill. I just called you your nephews. Your grandson.
Mike
Collette.
Richard was like, "Isn't it cool that I get to coach in the college series this year?"
Didn't he?
And I'm like, "Well, the coaching staff is Sorella, Hooley, Coda, and Zanaboni. How did I miss something here?"
Did your name change?
Well, Mike Richard went to Elmira, so when we play Elmira, he's going on the Elmira bench.
Oh. Wow. As an alumni guest coach, he's gonna try to thump his employer people.
Listen, it's fun for me. As you, Jake, you know the college series it's really not about who wins. We get excited when we win, of course, but
so we're gonna have Mike Richard and Michael Grace, another former EHL head coach.
There's just a lot of EHL ties, but a big reason why he's going on the bench. He helped set this up with his alma mater to get us up there, so makes sense. So I thought the way that he delivered it, though, I was like, I'm missing something here. What did I miss? Something? So
when I did double check my premier games for tomorrow, I have Connecticut Northeastern AAA, which that's an interesting team I want to take a look at versus the Wolves, and then I don't have the Capitals. I do have the Express taking on the Adirondack Junior Thunder, Jake's Express P.
Okay, we'll go over how emphatic I want you to be when Zach Spacuzza scores. I'll give you some notes. Okay,
we'll talk. We'll meet in the morning, Jakey. We'll figure that out. All right.
I'm excited to see Adirondack, guys. I think when they hit the ice, they have a chance for it to be a shootout in terms of goals scored. It could be one of those running gun games where you can get almost a touchdown's worth of goals. So, and one of
they always have a sick game at the Worcester Showcase too. I mean, their first year, didn't they win a shootout? Yeah, Mac Ryan and and then last year they won in overtime against BJR.
Yep.
So I think they always kind of have like a sick game.
They bring the fireworks. So when you are focused in on that 5-10 Wolves P game, I'll be gearing up for the 7-10 Adirondack P game, Jake.
We'll be chugging Quench in the office, getting ready, getting hydrated.
We are bringing some Quench to the showcase, and Jake's got a feature ready to go. How many Quench bottles do you need, Jake?
I don't know.
Because I bought 4 cases, so there's 48, right?
Okay.
So if I told you that I already drank 6 of them, you'd be like, "That's okay."
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I could, dude. I had the first one, and I was like, "Wow, this is good."
Really?
Ooh.
So I was like,
I'm all about. What's their name?
Do you feel good after? Like, I'm all about electrolytes. Yes. So I guess, yeah.
I'm excited. I've literally had one every day for the last 4 days. And I'm like, if I keep on this pace, thank God the showcase is starting, because Jake's gonna be like, "Where are all my Quench bottles?" And I just don't have any.
Wait, Commissioner, we got to ask you, is this better than we won't say the name anymore because they're not part of our, because you are addicted to that.
I have a new addiction.
Wow.
My first addiction is prequels that makes no sense, and then we go on to Quench.
And then Symmetry.
Trashing New England golf courses.
Or Granite Links is now Granite Stinks, according to
Jake, you know what? This is perfect because I need to stay on my soapbox and talk about how I lost in fantasy football this week, guys.
Oh.
You got to hear this.
Now it's time for the eShow Fantasy Challenge. Follow along on the EHL app. Available now for free on both Apple iOS and Android.
So as we do with every fantasy segment, we start off talking about, something that a lot of people play, fantasy football, Survivor, Pick'em, you name it. So as you guys know, I'm in the Avalanche Fantasy Football League. That you have like 12 guys on your roster with 2 QBs, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, you name it. So I was playing CJ Sorella, Chris's oldest son, this week. Mm-hmm. And heading into Monday night, I had a 16-point lead. Okay, which
good
by Chris's point structure isn't a lot of points, but thankfully it's only really inflated for the QBs, and all the QBs were done. So I had DK Metcalf going, and he had 3 running backs in that game going. He had both running backs for Detroit and the running back for the Seahawks. Did you see how the running backs did in that game? They had 5 touchdowns combined. The 3 running backs.
Mm-hmm.
For two of those touchdowns, DK Metcalf caught the ball and was tackled at the 1. And the second one, he was tackled at the half-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
And on both occasions, they ended up giving the ball to Kenneth Walker next. So you're talking about, I don't know, in Chris's point structure, a 20-point swing. And then, of course, DK Metcalf, who's built like a brick house, fumbles. I was irate. I was irate.
Yeah, speaking of, I heard Joe Buck say DK Metcalf was 6'5", 240 like 7 times the other night. I'm like, all right, Joe, you're great, but we get it. DK's big. Like,
yes.
What?
So that's my fantasy football for a second. Then fantasy hockey, Jeff. You'll love this one. I picked up
your roster's ready.
I picked up Sam Urson or whatever his name is from the Flyers yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Because who the hell knows what's going on with Swayman right now?
That's why I got Jonas Corposalo in the queue, baby.
I looked to see who had him. I looked to see who had him because I was like, I might as well have him until Swayman shows up. And, you know, maybe this is a rule I have to figure out how we can adjust because I should have him. Not you, Jeff.
Because you have Swayman? Oh, okay.
Yes. I don't know how we work out that rule, but
give me a call. Trade offices are open, commission, if you want to take a look.
I'll give you a jersey. I'll give you a jersey for him. I have no players to give up.
This is so typical Neil when it comes to fantasy. He cheats me out of points last year, but he wants free goalies in fantasy this year. This is so on brand for you.
And no free
when
goalies.
Zach Rolo leaves mid-month, I don't get the points that he has, right? But you suddenly want this goaltender because you drafted some guy who's worse than Ilya Sorokin.
Wow.
Whoa.
Stinky.
Okay.
Stinky.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that's Chase or Brady I smell, but that is not a
Jeff, if you could smell this house
Sorokin
right now,
better than
if you could smell this house right now, Jeff, oh boy.
Yeah.
There's
lots of twosies, hey?
Yes. Lots of twosies. But again, listen, Jake, if my cheating doesn't work out, whether it's fantasy football or fantasy hockey on the seasonal basis, I can always pivot to DraftKings and work more on the daily basis.
Yes, you can, Neil. I've been doing it, and DraftKings is a great place to be. Makes me some money here and there, more days than not. And TD Tutty, taking it to the house, whatever you call a touchdown, they matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? Then score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, and you get 1 month of NFL Plus Premium only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Do you have a gambling problem? If so, you can call 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. Call 877-8-HOPENY, or you can text HOPENY. That would be 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. You can avoid that in Ontario. Bonus bets do expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball. NFL Plus Premium offer available only to new and former NFL Plus subscribers. Additional NFL Plus Premium terms at nfl.com/terms.
So we'll jump into our EHL fantasy now, which, yes, Jake is upset that his forward picks points haven't counted yet.
It's okay. I've gotten over it.
Oh, we've gotten over it compared to last time.
Yeah.
Okay. We have 41 entries so far, guys. So for those that are listening, you still have, well, by the time we drop this, less than 24 hours. You have until puck drop of that first game tomorrow to get your picks in 11 a.m.
Tick, 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 tick.
There are some interesting picks so far, some consistency. Well, again, I brought this up last week, guys. It's been interesting to watch the Wolves EHL. They've split the time with the goalies so far this year. And if you remember, Cam Reardon was probably the most popular fantasy pick by the end of the season last year. Maybe that becomes the case again this year if he ends up getting the starts that he did last year. Maybe they're trying to just pace him because he must have had 30-something starts last year.
I think it was like 35, I want to say.
I mean, he led all goalies in minutes by like a pretty substantial
close, right?
Yes. It's funny. Anthony's picks have come in, and his forward pick, I messed up entering this player's name into the system on the website. His forward is Gavin Brandon from the Connecticut Nor'easter.
Yeah,
So
he's good.
I entered him in as Brandon Gavin. And Hef's
Yeah,
like,
he's one of those first names
and Hef's
guys.
like, no, you have it wrong. And I was like, I no, I think you have it wrong. He's like, no, I think you have it wrong. And I was like, someone's got to confirm this for me because I couldn't find him on EP for a little bit, but it is Gavin Brandon. And like Jake said, he's had a great start to the season for the Nor'easter. So
He's
good
legit.
pick there for Anthony. Do you guys
I
want
hear Coach have to interject. Neil, I coach him. I think I know his name by now. I know it's early. I will just say, can't wait to see F.
Well,
Another-
listen,
Oh, I love Hef.
me too, and especially I love his sayings.
Yes.
I'm not sure if Olivia shared this one with you yesterday, Jake, but we decided that we're going to start a journal.
Of half sayings. Oh,
Of
yes.
heiferisms?
Yes.
We'd run a week.
Okay, yeah.
Because
Get Talk the Dog off a meat wagon on
that's
there.
what he said to me yesterday.
Dang.
And I
Jake's-
texted her right afterwards, and I was like, did I hear that right? And she's like, yes. I go, but wouldn't the dog want to stay on the meat wagon?
He's saying he can convince the dog to hop off.
That's insane.
Yeah. How about $1 million
I'm
shy of
gonna
being a
bring Efren,
millionaire?
everybody.
Ooh, I haven't heard
What was
that
that?
one.
Say that one again.
Write that one down.
Say it again.
He's a million
million-
bucks. $1 million bucks
shy
shy
of
of
being a
being a
millionaire.
millionaire.
Wow.
Me too.
Wow.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Damn.
Half isms. I did not think about naming the journal that, but now we know.
Heiferisms.
Heiferisms. Oh my god, even better.
Might have to have a new segment.
Anyways,
Just saying.
that covers the forward for Anthony. Let's talk about your picks, Jake. We've already kind of teased this a little bit. Your forward.
Yeah,
And-
hold on. Here are 3 texts that already have the word heiferism in it.
Common household word in Jake's.
I have used that phrase before. Yeah, I have Andrew Duvall as my forward.
Yes.
Are we just doing forward right now? Or
No,
are we
you can go all your picks.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of confidence in Doovie. He had a great year last year.
You've been talking
Taking a
Doobie up.
full-time EHL player now after starting in the P last year. He'll be a stud. He'll be a stud at the showcase. On D, Jackson Hansen from the Wolves Premier. I got DMs from multiple Wolves saying this was a great pick.
Okay.
Zach Pakuza is a little upset with me and pick him.
Yeah, we saw that.
I went with the
Rightfully
Wolves
so.
captain first, AJ Lackas. And then in net, Caden Pascalone from the Eagles. I mean, he's seen a good amount of rubber already, so I was kind of thinking maybe, he'll get a good amount of minutes, and then in turn, maybe he'll eat some more shots. So I like my first month's picks. I plan on winning this year. Last year was
I plan on leaving you all in the dust.
sort of a rebuild year for the organization. Had to get our ducks in a row, but now our pond is looking real good, and we're ready to swim.
Okay. Fly ducks
Oh my
fly.
god. Well, for my forward pick, I'm going with Cole Davidson, who had not one but 2 hat tricks last October. And
So
if you
that
remember,
Robbie?
Jeff, yes, I had the
Yeah.
first hat trick in EHL fantasy history. So ding for that.
Ding.
for
Way back when, 2019.
Yes,
right?
for
Yeah. Mhm.
defense, I had to ask Jake just to confirm because he was telling me how awesome this kid was on defense. So I wanted to make sure I had the right one because there's 2 O'Connells and 1 O'Connor on the Eagles. I think I have that correct, right? 2 O'Connells and 1 O'Connor.
Mhm.
So the last thing I wanted to do is type in the wrong name and then get accused immediately this season of cheating. Right, so we're going with Max
Smart.
O'Connell on defense from the Eagles, and then Cross Sherman in goal from PHC.
Cross boss, I like it.
Love it.
Is that his nickname, or is that the one that you just made up
Cross
for him?
boss. Ooh.
I can't remember. I
Okay.
don't know. It might be his like IG handle,
Oh, okay.
or I'm delusional. It's one or the other.
Jeff.
All right.
It's his IG. It's his IG. I'm not
Okay,
crazy.
so there you go. There you go.
Now for the true 2024-25 champions.
Wow.
First round. Yeah, I'm coming.
Don't read out my picks again. You're good. You can come to
Oh,
yours.
you're so funny. You're so funny. Jakey, this kid, Jersey City, New Jersey, not too far from your homeland of Long Island. Go Islanders. Christopher Benkovitz. He was with the Apple Corps last year, 33 points in 41 games. I don't know. I'm sensing a little Caleb Miller. Something about Chris Benkovitz. Maybe a big jump in points this year. He already has 9 in 4 games. Already has two, not hat tricks, but hat tricks worth points. Had 3 assists in his last game against the Apple Core. Goal and 2 assists before that. 2 assists before that, and then a single assist against my buddy old pal Zach Overholtzer's PA Huntsman. So 9 points in 4 games. I don't know, pretty good, right? Yeah, I'd say so.
Decent.
Defenseman. I'm trying to see if this kid's got a little bit of dad in him, and this one's for Justin too. I know Justin picked him. Philip Kuba Jr. I remember watching Philippe Kuba. I think it's Philippe, right? Or is it
I think
Philip?
I
Was
think
it Philippe?
it's Philippe.
Right.
I don't know.
We'll double check. We'll ask him at the showcase. But I remember watching
Big
his
dude.
yeah, which makes us feel old again, right, Neil and Justin?
Yes.
That we watched his dad play for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He had a 15-goal season at one point. Philip Kuba Sr. So we're hoping junior for the Avalanche with Chris Sorella. We'll do some damage. And then early on, I feel like leading on a veteran goalie is a smart thing. And Cam Wickens, hey, from Revere. Cam Wickens. We love Wiki. He's been unbelievable to start the year. So the Lumberjacks. So I feel like, I don't know, that one could bite me because we talked about Gingras coming over to the Lumberjacks too to work with Wickens, but Wickens has been a little bit better out of the two out of the gate. So come on, Seth Gustin, let's catch up and talk about getting Wickens into more games this month. And the next month you can go to Gingras. How's that sound? All right, cool. We'll talk.
Most popular goalie picked so far. 10 times.
Wickens?
Hey, Nick?
Yes.
Shoot, that's
No,
the other problem.
no,
is
Cam
when it's
Wickens.
One that everyone
Cam
has.
Wickens.
Okay.
So
He's been in the league, what, 3 years now? So, like, that's a good.
So the point, though, is, people are either saying that they are for real 4-1 or they're not. They're going down with the ship
right.
in terms of fantasy. So to bring out some other picks that have been submitted so far, I always find it interesting when guys are either alumni or players in the league, if they pick themselves, if they don't pick themselves, So you got Nathan Courier, brother of Owen Courier.
Yeah.
Didn't pick his own brother. So that's interesting.
Wow. Already starting fights.
Brendan Manning, alumni of the league.
Oh, yeah.
Can't pick his brother because his brother's not playing. His brother's calling games at our showcase, broadcasting.
That's right.
Yes, but he picked 3 Lumberjacks, so he's staying loyal to Vermont too. Vermont as a whole, there are a lot of Vermont picks this month. Maybe that's because people are seeing that they've played 5 games so far.
But again, it's because it's fall and they have plaid jerseys, Neil. Come on.
That could be it too.
Love those plaids.
But again, you have until 11 a.m. that first puck drop in Worcester to get your picks in. And listen, Jake feels confident. I won last October. Okay, so just saying, I got off to the perfect start. Who was my forward? I had Gavin Samopoulos, Jack Costable, and I already mentioned him, Cam Reardon. So
that's a studly trio.
It worked out pretty well.
That's we'll see. Jack Studley trio.
Oh, we're going way back there.
Dad jokes. What up?
Jake, do you know who Jack Studley was? What team he played for in our league?
No.
Same team as your forward pick this month, the Valley Junior Warriors.
Valley Junior Warriors. Ryan McGrath will love that one.
So let's start breaking down all the games coming up this weekend because there's a lot to go through.
And now here's what to watch for in the EHL and the EHLP.
So instead of just picking one game apiece, because frankly there's too many. We're gonna go day by day, everyone. And as I mentioned, the showcase kicks off on Thursday at 11 a.m. It's interesting. It's Dukes versus Nor'easter. They just played Monday.
I like that. And I like that for the Dukes.
Okay. And total luck on my part, on Monday was at Nor'easter in Connecticut, and the Dukes are the home team for this one. So I lucked my way into a home and home. Now, the home game for the Dukes just happens to be at the showcase, right? Not really their home, but they get the last change. So they're at 11 a.m. The Wizards and Terriers are at 11:10. Other EHL games that day: Seahawks, Wolves, Eagles, Rough Riders, Capitals, Apple Core, Philly Hockey Club, and the Avalanche. What jumps out to you that day? I know for me, I already mentioned Wizards versus Terriers. It feels weird that it's 3-0 versus 0-2.
The Apple Core still haven't won yet. I predicted them to be my game of the week last week, and unfortunately for Con McNeilis in his first home game, the Bears won 10-5. So, no, I mean, all joking aside, we love Connell, and I'm sure they're going to get their first win. Maybe it comes this week.
Yeah.
But that's someone that jumps out to me after how good of a year they had last year. Started 0-2, I think. Probably a little disappointing for them, but I'm sure they'll right the ship soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Neil, I'll echo you a little bit. I think the Dogs and Wizards should be a really good game. But I'll go the first game of the showcase. Do a nice pregame interview with a Dukes player
Oh, you know what
and
that
get things
means?
started right. I mean, I haven't seen the Dukes yet, so I am
Should we tell
excited
them,
for
Jakey?
that. And I'm sorry, Jeff.
Should we tell all the rookies about, what this is? The big field
Oh,
pregame interview
right.
magic?
Yeah. There's a yeah. I mean, when you get the pregame interview, there's a good chance you're putting up some numbers
In your
in the
last 2
game.
years, can we compile stats from your last 2 years? Because I'm not even kidding. The amount of times I've used that in like little color comments on these showcase games from like literally Zach Rolo, I think you called it last year. He had like 4 points in
Hmm.
one game after you
Oh
interviewed
yeah,
him. It's real. Just saying, guys. Don't be shy.
yeah.
Join Jake. He won't eat
Gives
you.
them some extra swagger going into the game for sure.
Right. So don't be shy. I know a lot of these guys are shy. Just join Jake. You'll look great. We'll put you on social media. You can tell us how to properly pronounce your name. Also, please don't be shy about that. Like we always
Yeah,
say,
sure.
tell us how mom and dad say it. Jake will sprinkle with some magic. You can get a bunch of goals. A college team will recruit you, and we'll all have a great day. There
That's
it
the
is.
That's all
exact
about.
timeline of events. And
That's
then
what
when
it's all about.
when it's all said and
Simple as
done,
that.
we'll come up with a untimely prequel and do it all over again. Anyways.
Wow.
Back to the schedule.
I gotta
All
keep
right.
going back to this, Jake. I can't go back to the golf course. I've already knocked that one out. So to Friday. Apple Core Warriors, Bandits Avalanche, Nor'easter Terriers, Philly Hockey Club versus the Rough Riders, Express Wolves, Lumberjacks Seahawks, Wizards Huntsmen, Bears Eagles, Capitals 87s, Rhode Island Little Flyers. We will be there all day, guys. There are 10 games, 20 teams playing. I will not give this away until everyone sees it in person. But if the Apple Core and the Warriors both wear their third jerseys, like they're saying that they're going to in email confirmation, it's gonna look awesome. You've seen the Apple Core thirds; it's the same as last year, but
Oh
the
yeah.
They're beautiful.
Warrior third jersey is nice.
Mhm.
I'm really looking
Ooh.
forward to seeing that in person on Friday.
Ooh. Love it.
Who's going next?
Go ahead, Jeffy.
I'm interested to see, like we said, are the Lumberjacks for real? And another team that's kind of surprisingly started slow, the Seahawks, right? We talked about Isaac Salja Uji.
Yep.
Uji. We keep going
Hard G. Hard G.
Oogie. Damn it. Isaac, so sorry. He's given up 12 goals in 2 games though. So we thought that Salja Ugi was going to be the backbone of that team and that they weren't going to give up much. They have in years past struggled to score a lot, but let's see it. Maybe the Seahawks surprise us. I feel like they've done decently. Seahawks have in their years past at showcase games.
Yeah.
Vermont too. So I think that's a kind of intriguing matchup that kind of pops out to me on that Friday.
Yeah. I'll go with Providence 87s. Talked
Ooh.
about that. I'm excited about Providence. And then it'll be my first time seeing Hooley squad for the year. So always
Cool.
excited to see them. They always, bring on some good, tough, close games at showcases. I feel like they finish a lot of them like 2-1. They always give us some good overtime moments, like Gamzatov, So
Yeah.
I'll be looking out for that game on day 2.
Okay. And then wrap it up. Not wrap it up. Sorry. Keep going.
Only halfway through, Neil. On Saturday. Halfway.
I'm already trying to wrap things up here, Jeff. Lumberjacks, Philly Hockey Club, Rough Riders, Bandits, Rhode Island Eagles, Apple Core Terriers, Seahawks, Little Flyers, Warriors, Dukes, Huntsmen, Wolves, Express 87s, and Bears Avalanche on Saturday. Bears Avalanche. The Bears beat the Avalanche in this showcase last year. I know they both moved a bunch of players on to college. They're not the same teams, but this has to be a revenge game for the Avalanche looking back at last year.
Chill coin versus Sorella. They're still there. I mean, let's go.
I'm surprised you didn't say mozzarella. Chill coin versus mozzarella.
Hey, Max.
Yes.
That's a good one. Badoomch. I'm sadly not going to be there Saturday. I got a Hall of Fame induction to do for Bentley and then their home opener that night. But yeah, I'll try to tune in on Flow Hockey. Like you said, still a bunch of really, really good games on there. And I always love when you have those cross division battles because you never know what you're going to get as far as, teams from the South playing teams from the North. So, like you said, Terriers playing Apple Core. That's an out of division battle. Little Flyers playing Seahawks. Yeah, all sorts of good games there, honestly. Jake, you're not calling any games at this showcase, right? Just interviewing?
Yeah, just
Gotcha.
interviewing. Yeah, and doing quenched reviews.
Unless I
Quench
drink them all
reviews.
today, so.
Yeah,
Oh, quench reviews. Oh, jeez.
yeah. I'll go with Express 87s again, going back with the with Hooley's squad. Two stingy defensive teams. I mean, that's
Yeah.
got to be pretty
Little
tight
story.
game. That'll be
Pick
like
the under.
kind of playoff hockey feel in September, I think.
Take the under.
When has too much time passed to call that a championship game rematch?
The first showcase where it happened afterwards. That was the only time you
So
can call
clearly
it
that was the championship game in 2022. Like that has passed, is what you're saying.
that. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll move on. I guess
He's
I'll
like,
move
well, I
on.
guess I'll go home.
Then.
Bye.
That's very prequel of you, Neil.
Oh my god.
Oh. This is gonna be all season long.
Wrap up the EHL games on Sunday. Little Flyers, Lumberjacks, 87s, Bandits, Huntsman, Rhode Island, Warriors, Bears, Wizards, Capitals, and Nor'easter Express. For me, Huntsman go into the showcase with a 3-0 record. Rhode Island 3-1. Let's will this into existence. If they can win all their games up until that point, you get a 5-0 team versus a 5-1 team. Like that could be a pretty good matchup. I'm watching that one on Sunday.
Sunday, I got the 10-10 and the 12-10. So
watch one of your games
plug.
is what you're saying.
Watch one of my games. Lumberjacks, Little Flyers, or Bandits 87s. I mean, the Bandits are supposed to be better this year. That would be a great test. That will be a great test for Coach Drevich and the Bandits going up against a always solid New Jersey 87s Adam Hooley led team. So yeah, shameless plug. Watch my games, please. Thanks.
And I'll wrap up with PLF Lumberjacks. We get a good stretch on the league's geographic footprint there. And always, I mean, that's really like that's
the furthest north versus the furthest south.
Yeah, I'm intelligent. People don't give me enough credit.
People serve for cheesesteak shake.
More importantly, that's really to me a battle of two of the coaches with the best hair. They're always put together. There's a good amount of product in there. I know Seth and I both have used Suavecito in our lives. And Patron, I mean, those streaks of silver. I mean, that's some valid stuff right there. So that's the battle I'm looking for on Sunday.
We just got the greatest gift that we could make for the league. Like Jake, it's just literally, I'm intelligent. Like that's the gift. Like it's right there. Right here from the podcast. I'm intelligent. Oh, man. So we go to the EHLP next to go through those games that we have. As I mentioned, on Thursday, we're not over in Wellesley yet. We're starting just in Worcester that day. So we got 4 games. Avalanche, Seahawks, Wolves, Nor'easter, Capitals, Warriors, Adirondack versus Express. We're not going to each pick one, guys, because then we're going to leave a game out because there's only 4 games and there's 3 of us. So all those games are, as I mentioned, in Worcester, 5, 5-10, 7, 7-10 on opening night of the showcase. To Friday we go. 7 games that day. We actually do have 2 games in Worcester. I needed to bring that up. The 87s and Little Flyers, they get to play their first games of the showcase in Worcester. But the full schedule: Bandits, Avalanche, Wolves, Union Thunder, Renegades, Lumberjacks, Huntsmen, Seahawks, 87s, Capitals, Bears, Avalanche, Adirondack versus Little Flyers. I picked the Bears Avalanche in the EHL, and I guess the scheduler, put them up against each other in the EHLP also. So we'll watch that game as well. How about you guys?
Freaking scheduler guy. What a guy. I mean, are the Valley Junior Warriors Providence Capitals? We saw how good the Warriors premier team, and now Ryan McGrath doing a little switcheroo.
Yes.
Coach Collins up coaching the EHL, and now Coach McGrath is getting back to his roots, doing boots on the ground. I'm excited to see that, to see Ryan with the premier guys. Obviously, it's a different level. I think with his personality, and he's a veteran coach now. I think will be good with those younger guys, and we'll try to really fire them up and get them to see the way. So I like seeing let's see what the Warriors got going on.
I guess I really am interested in the Nor'easter team.
Yep.
I think they they have a pretty, mixed slate of some teams that were really strong last year and some teams that weren't so strong last year. So it might be a good opportunity to kind of figure out where they are. I mean, they've played they had a tough game against Providence. They came back against the Bandits only to lose in a shootout. I brought up how that Bandits team has definitely improved. It's pretty significantly from last year. They're a really young group, Coach Espo's squad. So they have a rookie captain, an 07 captain. So really interesting. I'm going to interview him this weekend too. So I'll be keeping my eye on CT Nor'easter.
And then for Saturday, mentioned how we have 10 games in the EHL, so 20 teams in action. For the EHLP, we have some teams playing 2 games on Saturday. So we have 21 total games on Saturday. I also have received a lovely invite from Jake and Mike to stay on their couch if I want to on Saturday night, which if I do after 21 games, like the second I hit the couch, like I'm probably out. But
no, you're not, dude. It's UFC fight night, baby. We're making money on DraftKings.
And that right there is how you keep the sponsor happy. Thanks, Jake.
Oh yeah, the last event made almost $100 from DraftKings, man. Like, you want to make some money, guys, in this league, or if you're of age to gamble, talk to me about betting on the UFC.
Love that.
So for the schedule on Saturday, we got Union versus the Express, 87 versus Wolves, Lumberjacks Huntsmen, Little Flyers Capitals, Seahawks Renegades, Lumberjacks Union, Bandits Adirondack, Renegades Express, Warriors, Huntsmen, Wolves, Bears, Nor'easter, Seahawks. There hasn't been too much time that has passed that I can reference last year's Frozen Finals and Wolves versus 87s, which could have been one of the best games of the EHLP Frozen Finals, even though it meant nothing for the round robin.
You just refresh my memory who scored in overtime.
That would be Zach Spakusa.
It was, right? Yes. That escaped me.
Yes. Are you picking that game too?
Yeah, I'll pick that game too, I think. I think I'm really excited for the P as a whole. I think there's actually going to be a lot more parity this year in the EHLP. Games are looking really tight so far, and as rosters kind of settle with where guys are going to be, for the duration of the season, I think we're going to see the dust start to settle really more so in that league. Rosters are going to fill out a little bit more, and I'm really excited for how things work, even down the line.
I'm excited to see your Express there, Jake, because they only scored 2 goals out of the gate, playing a lot of tight games. No more Railers, no more Rangers in their division. So will the Express win that division this year? We talked about how Coach Robertson has been able to be a really good recruiting mastermind in the years past. So let's see if the Express can start scoring some goals here in the showcase after just 2 through 2 games, but still a nice, respectable 1-1 record.
Yeah, they need some offense for sure.
Right.
And just to tie a bow on the schedule of all the games taking place this weekend, mention how the Little Flyers are playing the Lumberjacks in the EHL on Sunday, also in the EHLP, to go along with Nor'easter versus Renegades, Warriors versus Thunder, Huntsmen versus Avalanche, Bandits versus 87s, Bears versus Express. Guys, I can't even pick any more games. So that's the remainder of the schedule.
That's it. Watch them. They're all great.
We're folding here.
What you said, the first fold?
We're folding.
Wrap her up. We're going to get to the showcase.
Yes, and we did post yesterday the schedule for the PPP games. Those are taking place on Saturday and Sunday. So on Saturday, they use both sheets for, we'll call it Saturday evening and the Saturday night. On Sunday, we're going side by side. We'll have the EHL on one side, PPP on the other side. We'll have great food throughout the entire time while we're there. There's always good food in Worcester. And again, for every player, make sure to ask your coaches what time I gave them for your headshots, because when you check in for your headshot, you get the water bottle, the shaker bottle, the athletic shirt, the polo shirt, a hydration packet, your picture taken. You can buy apparel. So we offer.
It's nice that you did that though, because a lot of guys don't want to get pictures taken, but then you're like, oh, you get your pictures taken, but here's some swag.
Yes.
Are we including the autographed pictures of Chris Sorella as well, or did we leave those out?
You know how when you go to like the big sporting events, they have like that like the silent auction going, and you write down your auction number. We'll have a clipboard for that and we'll see what the highest bidder is.
That's
Perfect.
So, well, we're ready for a showcase, guys. I mean, it's like the season started out of nowhere. First 2 weeks have come and gone. We're ready for a showcase. Jeff calling a bunch of games. Jake giving out a bunch of interviews. We're taking all the headshots, as I said. And we're going to play a bunch of hockey this weekend between Worcester and Wellesley. If you can't make it to this showcase, you can always watch the games online, live on Full Hockey. And we'll see everyone at the showcase.
See you in Worcester.
Thanks for listening to The E-Show, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Learn more about us at easternhockeyleague.org and follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Also, be sure to subscribe and get notified when our next podcast episode is released.